In this video, I do an in-depth walk around of the Tusca Outdoors HitchHiker and discuss how I plan to use the HitchHiker in my Powerstroke F250. All right, so I am at the shop where the HitchHiker and Tusca Outdoors hunting blinds are made. They were gracious enough to let me come shoot a video, and I know in the last video at the show, it was kind of hard to see all the angles of this unit, and we definitely were missing some additional detail. I'm gonna plan to just show off the different sides of this and talk a bit about how I plan to use the HitchHiker for all the travel that I do. The current version of the HitchHiker is 7 feet long, and so that will not fit in a short truck bed. But I just want to be clear from the outset that this unit you're looking at and the units for sale right now are 7 feet long. They are not yet making the ones for shorter truck beds, but I will be getting access to one to test for them in the near future. I know there are also some additional questions around the roof and whether or not you can stand on it. It can fit 2 to 3 full-size adults. So, I mean, I don't know what average weight is these days, but I know Josh and Adam both got up on top of this and jumped on it at the show. They have a video on that and doing that I'll link to below, and this held up really well. On the outside of the unit, you'll see they have this port here, and this is for running an extension cord or if you needed to run some other cord or hose or something. So it does have a port already built in for that. Now, if we take a look at the door, this has a typical RV slam latch. The door itself, though, is made out of the foam, so it's also insulated. And then you'll see in here, you have 2 RV windows. Now that I'm sitting inside, I have the door closed, and there was some heavy equipment out there. There was a lot of yard noise, and it's pretty quiet in here. It's definitely not, like there's still noise, and I think a lot of that is coming through the vent holes that are up right here. It's about 32 degrees today, and it's toasty in here. Like, this thing is warm. The guys went with RV windows from Lippert, so you can open one side of the glass here and you get a screen. And they're not huge windows, but you know, if you're camping at night, I mean, they're nice and easy to cover. I could see getting some of those RV window covers from Amazon to put over these, and they would do a good job keeping any sort of light out. But like, there's enough light in here during the day from these windows that you can also come in here without having to turn a light on. You know, it's not dingy at all. For the rest of the HitchHiker space, they currently have a full mattress in here. I suppose if you just had a cot on one side or the other, the door is kind of offset to one side in the back, so you could put a cot on one side or a mattress. And I mean, for one person, this would be comfy. For 2, sleeping, it would still be pretty comfy. You know, you can sit up fully in the tall end of this. Obviously, in the low end, like you can't, because it's kind of tapered down. Here's a look at the back end of the unit from the bed, and you can see you do have a little bit of walking space back there, and you know, not much. It's maybe like a foot or 2, but enough where you could put a bag or clothes. And again, if you weren't on a full mattress, you'd have a lot more space in here if you were just one person. And you can see how the door is kind of offset to one side there, so like you could put your bed on this side if you wanted, and you can see kind of the power cord hole down there. So I'm not all the way at the end of the bed. You can see there's still some space back here, but like, you know, I'm sitting up and I'm further in and I'm still clearing. Again, I think if you had a cot, you might hit your head back here, but if you're just sleeping on a foam pad or an air mattress, I think that would work really well. Okay, so my plan for how to use this, now that we've kind of done a more detailed walk around, I'm very fortunate in that I'm going to have the opportunity to test one of their first prototypes for truck beds of the HitchHiker. And so I'm going to be getting made for my truck, which currently has an ARE topper on it. I'm going to be getting made a 6-foot 9-inch version of what we are currently sitting in. And I tow RVs, so I'm traveling. This week I just drove 4,000 miles, and you know, 4 of the nights, well, all the nights that I'm on the road, I'm sleeping at rest areas in the back of my truck. And last night it was got down to 18 degrees, which isn't really that cold. I have a 0-degree sleeping bag, but my cap currently has a lot of, seams around where the tailgate mates up. And, I've thought about, all right, I could get some weather stripping. I know there's a lot of people that camp in their truck caps, but I really, as someone who drives commercially and is towing commercially and is on the road a lot and deals with a lot of different weather conditions, really want something that I don't have to do a lot of work to in order to get it to work. So my plan is actually to buy, there are these little battery powered air conditioners and heaters. They're by EcoFlow. They're called like the Wave, and the battery on them will last for about 8 hours. But my plan is to get one of those, run my mat in on one side of the HitchHiker, and then I'm gonna run that AC unit and heater on the other and have all my clothes and stuff in. And then my other plan, in order to get the prototype to sit in my bed above the wheel wells, is I'm gonna be getting a decked system, and I'm gonna put it on top of the deck system. So all my tools will be underneath the HitchHiker, locked away out of the rain, but I can get to them super easy. And then all my clothes and living things can be in the HitchHiker. And then I still have my crew cab where I have like my fridge and a few other things. Like I keep like my camera bag with all my equipment in it in the cab. The HitchHiker really is gonna allow me to have a dedicated sleeping living space when I'm on the road. And when I'm traveling, occasionally I'll get a hotel, but when you're doing a ton of miles, it's not worth always stopping at a hotel. Not to mention they add up. So being able to pull over at a rest area during any weather and just jump in the HitchHiker and sleep is very attractive to me. And the fact that it's already weather tight, I don't have to worry about like resealing, buying weather stripping, trying to DIY stuff. Again, for some people that might be a fun thing to do and you might enjoy that. You might want to have a truck cap that matches the look of your truck, and that's fine. But I think for me, the like seamless look a truck cap has is nice, but the functionality of the HitchHiker is what really is attractive to me for the price. It's still cheaper than a cap, it's watertight, and it's weather tight and insulated, and really that's what you want. When I'm pulling off of I-70 or I-80 in Kansas and it's windy and cold, I want a warm, dry place to sleep, and it allows you to stretch out. I could sleep in my back seat, but you have to be curled up like a rat. I am going to make a separate video on my current sleeping setup, and I'll talk about some of the pros and cons of that truck cap and everything I'm using it for. And again, I think the market is great in that it gives us a lot of options. And now, having had a truck cap, I know what the pros are, I know what the cons are. The HitchHiker, I think, to me, is going to be kind of closer to what I need for my use of my truck and allowing me to do a lot of miles and basically sleep wherever. Thank you again for watching this video. I appreciate your time and interest in the channel and the HitchHiker. Be sure to subscribe. There'll be a whole lot more HitchHiker content on this channel as I get and test this new prototype